So sorry to keep you waiting.
No, you're good. You're fine.
I had nature called.
No, that's good. I'd rather you do it now than later.
So
how you been?
I'm good. Thanks so much for taking a minute. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, lay it on me.
I feel like a freaking imposter every day.
Yeah.
And my creative director, I don't know, he'll say something that I've been trying to put my finger on all day, and he just knows it instinctively now. And I'm like, maybe I can get there, but maybe I'm gonna feel like a fake all my career. I don't know.
I think that imposter syndrome thing is just being a creative. We're gonna have times where we're real down about our skill set. We're looking around and like seeing other people crushing something, and we feel like, oh shit, have I been at a standstill for the past year? Like, have I done anything? It really is the what have you done lately thing. You'll get those high moments. You'll win awards, you'll get praise, you'll get promoted, and then all of a sudden you haven't done something recently and you're like, I suck. This is all a facade. It's just important to know that that's how it is, and everyone feels that way. Like even ECDs that I've talked to, I've been trying to really dig into the psyche of people more than anything lately. Like, how do you feel? You know, a lot of those ECDs and stuff are feeling the same shit. You're gonna put out shit that you don't know if it's good or not until like everyone responds to it. And my big thing is like, if you love it, like who gives a f-? Like you got to make it, like that's cool enough. You keep it in your book. I will always standing by your creative. It's ultimately what represents you. And if you're proud of it or something you did on it or whatever, like it's worth being in your book. There's probably things in my portfolio right now that other people wouldn't like, but I just like it. So I'm going to keep it.
Right.
So you're on the art side. I saw your book. You do like a lot of animation and stuff too, right?
Yeah. That's my hobby is like After Effects stuff.
It looks really good. Like I love all the shark stuff and like all that stuff. It's fun. It's
Thanks,
very
dude.
Adult Swim. I like that shit.
They're one of my favorite Instagram accounts and channels.
Yeah, of course. So you say it's a hobby. What do you mean by that?
Well, maybe it's more like a side gig. I've been doing actually I just got my first freelance gig doing a Jiffy sticker. Okay, I say GIF, by the way. I know it's not.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm a GIF till I die, but I'll accept it. GIF is the correct way, so you're not wrong.
Okay, well, and I talked to the Artist of the Year. She has like over 30 billion views on the platform, and I talked to her the other day, and she says we had the argument. She's like, it's Giphy, like, and I'm the Giphy Artist of the Year. I'm like, yeah, I'll say it.
Yeah.
But anyways, hard to break the habit. But I made a lot of those sharks years ago, and then they kind of came back to life with Giphy lately. They've got like almost 200 million views right now.
Oh shit, dude! Yeah, that's real.
It's been seen almost 200 million times, but they've been used about 1 million times probably. So it's like
that's correct. I mean, hey, fraction or not, dude, 1 million people's 1 million people. So like,
yeah. So
that's sweet.
It's validating. And actually, something you said earlier made me think like I'm kind of the opposite maybe of other people right now, where it's like I'm really happy with what I'm doing right now. Like I'm happy with my life, but I'm not like mega proud of the work I'm doing, to be honest.
Yep.
So that's kind of like one thing I wanted to ask you about today is like the sharks and like GIFs and stuff like are really fun. And like I'm doing this sticker pack for this dude in California now with a couple friends, but like.
Yeah, those stickers are rad too.
Thanks, dude. I'm going to send you some. I got to give you a thank you.
Yeah, send them up, man. Hook it up.
I'll sanitize them, first.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm not super proud of the advertising side of things. So does that mean maybe should I be more on the design or motion side of an agency or in an actual design studio? Or, should I keep like pursuing the advertising, the art direction and like make it work? You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to kind of figure out where to kind of start molding my career.
Yeah, and it's a tricky question because at every shop, it's going to be a little bit different, right? I think the first thing to do is to identify what's the thing that gives you drive. And if it's animation, then sweet. Then it's really about in your current place, in your current position, are you able to, take a project they give you and be like, hey, what if we implemented some motion into this? I think it's finding opportunities to implant the thing you're really passionate about. But if you can't get that at your shop, you just have to find out where else you can. And now art directors at most agencies are very much becoming where you need that skill set anyway. A senior art director that reported to me, he's all about animation in 3D. And like, that's pretty much what he does, but he's a senior art director. And so, yes, he'll still grab like an occasional print ad or he'll concept an idea for like a kit. He just, he's in cinema and After Effects most of the time. And so I think it just depends, where you go. And I think that's an important thing too, is you could be extremely happy at where you're at. And it really depends on what you value, right? Like a lot of people stay at an agency because they value the leadership. They're like, oh, the people here, I can learn a lot. Like it's worth being here. Like I have mentors here. And that's one value. Another value is the money. It's never driven me. Like I don't really care about it, but like some people they're like, I just want to make that money. So they'll go to like wherever they got to go to make that. And if you bounce around a lot, you can make money real quick. And then the last value is the interest, like the passion. Agencies are always looking for animation people because it's a skill set that not all art directors have. Most of the art directors in the game are in your big three. They're in your Photoshop, your Illustrator, your InDesign. Not many have After Effects, Premiere, and Cinema 4D capabilities. So that right there is a differentiator. And you working in a shop already gives you years of experience, which is always another hurdle for younger creatives. It's like just getting the foot in the door. You've already got that. So I think really it's debating that question with yourself and asking yourself, I stay here. I try to implement some stuff where I can. And if I can't, I do stuff on the side. Like I do fun stuff for me. And that's where I get my, passion from, and that's how I excel. And then there's the other side where you're like, okay, I'm going to apply to some other places, but I'm going to be very transparent and upfront that, hey, I really want to focus on animation. It's possible either way to fill that itch. It's just like, which way are you going to decide to do it? That's why I thought it was funny when you said, hobby. I'm like, all right, but it sounds like you really like that thing. On your portfolio, it's near the top. You got a reel, you're really playing with it. If you're not using that skill set at your shop, they could upsell even smaller clients, at least on social. It doesn't have to be a big TVC.
Right. Yeah. So we do a ton of social, but it's mostly been static lately, and I need to push animation. I think I could.
You can just be like, hey, like I'll even do a little bit of this after hours if you don't want me to spend major time on this thing. Like, let me just make a few things to see if they would like it. You show them a few statics, then when you show them the animation, sure, it's going to have a bigger price attached to it for those clients, but you'll end up making your agency more money because you will probably upsell some of those projects.
Yeah.
And then you become a very, very valuable resource, and you're doing more of the stuff you like.
Dude, that's awesome. Thank you. What you're saying kind of leads into occasionally I have been able to get into the mediums I like at work. And because it is a smaller shop, not only is it more brands, but just more hats I get to wear for sure.
Yep.
I'd say my agency's pretty good at giving me what I want in that way. But I will say our clients play things pretty safe. We have a suicide prevention client. We have opioid abuse stuff.
Yep.
So stuff that is pretty serious if you can't get too wild with it just because lives aren't on the line. Stuff like that, I'm not always stoked to put in my book haven't been yet. We just haven't come up with any sort of brilliant solutions yet that I'm I need to show this off. I think it gets the job done, but it's not world.
Exactly.
So I'm wondering if that's the kind of stuff I'm making on a daily basis, generally, should I still be updating my book with that? Or should I just be putting stuff in my book that's passion project or freelance that I really, really love?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I started off at, my small shop, similar problem, right? I worked on real estate clients, law clients, medical clients. I think the first thing is to just really challenge yourself conceptually, knowing that they are hesitant to do anything too crazy. Not everything you do has to be real edgy and crazy and stuff. Maybe you get real sentimental with that message. You know what I mean? And maybe you're really tugging at heartstrings. If you've seen Headspace, do you ever look the app?
Yeah. I haven't used it before, but I've seen some of the branding.
So their animations are brilliant. And so it's just changing up your styles to fit that very protective client. Is it book worthy? Not always. Really, when you're deciding whether or not to put something in your book, never feel pressured by, I need a real client in here. Your portfolio is a representation of your best stuff. So if you weren't given the opportunity to make something awesome, don't feel like you have to include it. And so I think it's just can you make something cool out of boring clients? And if you can, that's super book worthy, because that's one of the hardest things to do. If you have a client that you feel has any bit of opportunity, even if it's not the ask that they're giving you, go after that and present it later, or bring it to your CD and be like, hey, I know this wasn't an ask. Do you think there's any chance to get this in front of the client to see if they might like it? Especially if it's animation and you're talking social media, that's low stakes.
Yeah.
Like, that's low stakes. It doesn't cost shit to post on social media.
We have a driving safety client, and it's actually one of our biggest ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really been wanting to just do some silly videos of like vehicles driving, like little cartoons. And I've like thought maybe we could do like an Instagram just with these driving safety cartoons. It's like not their flavor, which is why I haven't chased it yet, but maybe I should do it.
It's worth throwing at them. We can track the analytics so well that we can just put this up. We don't even have to post it on an account. We can put it up as an animated ad. It can run for a week, and we can just see how it does compared to our typical ads. A lot of time that data is what changes that client's mind. So if you can give them something relatively for free to prove a concept of what they should be doing, they're way more likely to bite. And then in turn, you get more fun stuff.
Cool, man. I love that. That's very nice. Yeah, I don't know. On a personal level, like obviously want to get married and like have a family one day.
Yep.
And family is like super, super important. I grew up with 5 siblings, and but I do like, I love my career and I want to chase the dream too.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, how have you like balanced? It seems like you kind of have similar desires as well.
100%. Yeah. Work-life balance is utmost important to me. Yes, I care a lot about my work. I mean, I have a YouTube channel that I dedicate every week to. I'm obsessed with this thing. I don't turn off at 5:30, but I want a family and stuff as well. I make sure to give my fiance a lot of that time because they deserve it. And so really, when you're finding that work-life balance, it's about putting yourself in a position to succeed. Hours really depend on agency. I pretty much get off at 5:30, no issues. There's gonna be weeks of like cranking and then like late nights and we're like burning the oil and there's a pitch coming. I think it's just about divvying up your time and being very purposeful about the time that you're not spending at work. I'm a little bit crazy when it comes to scheduling, but like, I'm like, all right, my day looks like this. Maybe I have 2 hours to f around and do nothing, but like from this time to this time, I'm going to work out. From this time to this time, like I'm going to watch a show with my fiance. We're going to eat dinner at the table. Like those things are still very important to both of us. It's just finding an agency that's flexible and they'll be upfront in that interview process. It is not a negative thing for you to ask them what the typical hours of their agency are. A lot of people might think that's a really shitty question. They're like, oh, why? Are you not willing to work? Like, no, you're just trying to get a lay of the land. You want to understand how the culture is. You want to understand the flexibility and someone who cares about your skills and what you can do will respect that and will choose you, based on what you can do and not based on what hours you do it. Like, it's very simple. Are you happy or are you not happy? I mean, I think especially after all this Corona stuff, people are very understanding that it is possible to work from home. If you're like, hey, I need to work from home 2 days a week, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue anymore. Like,
apparently that's what our president's thinking.
Yeah. The work-life balance is an easier subject if you just really dive deep into it. You'll make it happen. It's always a worry for everyone, and it ends up not being that big of an issue for most people.
The quarantine definitely has like forced me to learn how to schedule and like manage my own hours here. And I feel like such a better man, like just learning.
Because of it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are going to take a lot of good out of this quarantine too. Like, it's a shitty thing happening, but like it's making a lot of people have to adjust. It's making a lot of people better. I think a lot of good things are going to come out of this. There's a lot of personal growth to be had.
Dude, you're very validating. I've loved this.
No, I mean, I see a lot of promise. I really like your book as well. And I think that's why I'm extra invested right now in this thing, is because there's a lot of promise there, man, like a lot. And I can just tell by looking at your book that animation stuff is the stuff you want to be doing and you want to be playing with and you want to be dabbling in. Just make sure that, you're giving yourself that opportunity. Again, whether that's bringing that opportunity to your current clientele or that's you going off and getting that and scratching that itch somewhere else.
Cool, dude. I appreciate. That's super insightful. And I think last thing, I'm gonna eat up the last couple minutes here.
Cool. Yeah.
I always need a little like boost of faith that I can learn, and I can get better, like that all of us can. Because sometimes I hear that creativity's learnable, and then sometimes it feels like it's not.
Yeah.
So Well, I mean, you got any final thoughts on that as we sign off?
Yeah. Learning creativity is hard unless you practice. It's like anything. Will you be the best animator and graphic designer of all time? I don't know, like maybe you will, but more than that, will you be really, really good at it and solid at it and you're happy doing what you're doing? You can strive to improve in your craft every day and validate yourself by just making cool stuff, learning new techniques, taking more tutorials, taking more classes, just playing around with stuff, pushing your, creativity. But in the end, you're gonna get better just by doing. If you're worried about your growth, you just have to do something about it. And most of the time that something is just practicing it over and over and over. I did an illustration of Spider-Man, right? And I was like, this is a really badass Spider-Man poster. Like, looks really sick. Yeah. And then I did a poster of LeBron James and I was like, my Spider-Man poster looks like shit. And you know what? 3 months from now, I'll probably do another poster of MJ after this last dance. Now I want to do a Jordan poster. So that poster, I'll probably look at and be like, my LeBron poster sucks. Like, and that just continues. 100% guaranteed in 2 years, you'll look back at the book that you have now and you'll be like, I think the biggest thing is not to put pressure on yourself. Like, number one, not to put pressure on yourself. Number two, realizing that nobody's successes have anything to do with your successes. Like, they don't stunt your growth. They don't take a spot that you wanted, none of that. And then number three is to just do things that you love. You love this animation stuff. It's obvious. Just go do that. You know what I mean? Find ways to do that, whether that's in work, outside of work, for freelance, and just do it. But it's also just being kind to yourself and knowing that everyone else has their own shit and everyone else is struggling and everyone else has imposter syndrome and everyone else thinks they suck. But you don't. You do the best you can with what you got and your abilities, and you improve those abilities daily. Dude, so
that's perfect. Yeah, I should be able to trust my taste and work off that and make something that, if it appeals to my taste, it should be all right. Yeah.
Yeah, you do you, man. You got this. Like, I can tell. You got the drive. You have a passion for it. You'll get yours. Just, keep doing you. Well, let me know if I can help in any way. Keep me posted. I definitely want to see, like, kind of where you go from here. And yeah, I'll see you around.
Will do. Yeah. Thanks for the time, man. Appreciate it. Tell your fiance hi.
Cool. Will do.
I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right. Later, man.
See ya.